Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another episode of ReaperCast. Today we're going to be continuing off with the Abyss information. Last time we talked about part 1 and part 2, plus we also talked about the Amabi-san card or campaign, but we're going to be continuing off today with part 3 and part 4, which should conclude it. And yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. There's actually a lot of cards to go through, so hopefully I can actually finish it in a short amount of time, but I do think that this might be longer than the first video, so without further ado, let's just get started. Firstly, we have a Dogmatika support here. There's actually 2 new cards, I believe. It's really poorly spaced out, if you guys can also see as well on the screen, but the first card we have here is called Stigmata or Dogmatikas. It's a ritual spell card. This card can be used to ritual summon any Dogmatika ritual monster. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn, so that kind of restricts you already to just 1 ritual summon per turn. For its main effect, ritual summon 1 Dogmatika monster from your hand, either by tributing monsters you control or have in the hand whose total levels equal exactly the monster you ritual summon. So that's kind of a shame because you can't go over. So yeah, I don't really like that particular condition. Or by sending 1 monster with the same level as the monster you ritual summon from your extra deck to the graveyard, which actually could work quite well as well. So the second condition kind of makes up for it. It kind of reminds me of Necro's Kaleidoscope, so definitely a really flexible effect there. However, for the rest of this turn after this card resolved, you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck. So that means if you want to have the resolve to go into a ritual summon, then you're locked out from the extra deck, but that's okay. It doesn't seem too big of a deal there, considering this is the deck itself. Next we have Dragma no Albus or Dogmatika Albaz Knight, a level 8 light ritual spellcast. The effect monster, attack 500, 2500 defense. Very interesting stats. You can ritual summon this card with Dogmatikas. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. First effect, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. That's no surprise. And second effect, if an opponent's card or effect is activated, you can send 1 monster from your extra deck to the graveyard and look at your opponent's extra deck, and if you do, send 1 monster from there to the graveyard. This card gains attack equal to half the sent monster's total attack until the end of this turn. So this is kind of bringing back memories of Necros. It has that similar feel, so I do like to see that kind of relationship going on there. But with that being said, it makes me even more keen to actually build Dogmatikas at this particular point in time, despite how hard it is to actually find these cards. Alright, so now moving on to the Abyss information part 4, which is titled Albaz. So we have a favorite dragon that fights back against the big beast of the desert. It's called Albedo, the Stigmata dragon, level 8 dark dragon fusion effect monster, 2500 attack, 2000 defense. Materials require Fallen of Albaz plus 1 light monster. You can only use the first and second effects once per turn each. First effect, if this card is fusion summoned, you can fusion summon 1 level 8 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck except Albedo the Stigmata dragon by banishing your monsters in your hand, field or graveyard as fusion materials. Second effect, during the end phase, if this card was sent to the graveyard during this turn, you could take 1 Stigmata spell trap from your deck and either add it to your hand or set it directly to your field. So a nice extender for either combos or your plays to set up for future turns. So that's definitely quite nice, but overall, being that it's a 2500 attack, I think that's just I don't know, I think it's decent, but it's not like overly massive to the point where it could be a part of an OTK or anything like that, you know. Normally you would be looking at something like 3000 to 3500 or maybe even higher, but for this it's clearly not a big boss monster. It's more so just something to set you up for future plays or set you up for future combos and something like that. But moving on, we have here Stigma of White, a normal spell card. First and second effects can only be used once per turn. So first effect, fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck by using monsters you control or have in the hand, including a dragon monster as materials. If you're using Fallen of Albaz as a material, you can also banish materials from your graveyard instead, so not bad at all. Second effect, during the end phase, if this card was sent to the graveyard this turn to activate the effect of Fallen of Albaz, you can set this card onto your field, so I like that kind of recyclability to it. Moving on, we have over here Stigmata Ominous Cry, a normal trap card. Second effect can only be used once per turn, so first effect, if a fusion monster was sent to your graveyard during this turn, special summon one of your fusion monsters from the graveyard or that is banished. Second effect, during the end phase, if this card was sent to the graveyard this turn to activate the effect of Fallen of Albaz, you can set this card to your field. And finally, the last card is called Judgment of Stigmata, a normal trap card. You can only use the second effect once per turn. First effect, target one level 8 or higher fusion monster you control, destroy all monsters your opponent controls whose attack is higher than or equal to that monster's. Second effect, during the end phase, if this card was sent to the graveyard this turn to activate the effect of Fallen of Albaz, you can set this card to your field. So as we can see here, we have very common effects, the during the end phase effects, which is quite interesting of course, because it kind of reminds me of, I believe, Witchcrafters, where you could actually just recur back your spells from the graveyard to your hand, but at the same time it also has that Necros feel, just in general, being that it's a Stigma or it's a Dogmatika deck. But yeah, it gives me those kind of vibes, like you have a mix of Necros and Witchcrafts at the same time. I don't know if you guys get the same feeling, but that's how I feel about these. Very interesting. Each of these cards kind of add more to a gimmicky side of things, where you're just giving these additional generic effects which kind of affect your extension plays. So quite interesting there, but yeah, these are all the new cards that support the entire Dogmatika deck itself, which is definitely quite nice to see that this deck is still alive and kicking, given that this particular deck never really took off as highly as something like the Eldritch or even the most recent Virtual World as well. But yeah, with that being said, it's exciting to see that this will be coming out soon as well, because, you know, it means that the deck isn't going to be forgotten. But definitely tell me what you guys think about this. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like and also share this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos just like this. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time.